Hi there, how are you doing? Murdock's Music Minute, the relaxed, friendly hippie channel that brings you pop, rock, and indie album reviews, discography rankings, etc. from a couch. And that's also where we find the three protagonists of the album I'd like to take a closer look at today. This album review contains perfect harmony vocals, a lot of flower power spirit, but also a little bit of love and hate relationships. I'd like to take a look at an absolute classic of the late 1960s, the self-titled debut album by Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Nash, Stills, and Crosby. They got it right in the gatefold. And as always, before I get into the music, who are these guys? Well, then three young musicians, but already with a past. David Crosby had been a crucial member of folk rockers The Byrds, but left the band, or was asked to leave, in 1968 as his idiosyncratic attitude and his seemingly uncompatible ideas regarding songwriting and direction of that group had made working with him, well, difficult. Stephen Stills had been leading member of the Buffalo Springfield, together with best buddy and rival Neil Young, who had just broken up, and Graham Nash, the Englishman in the group, had been a founding member of successful Mersey beat pop rockers, the Hollies, but by 1968 felt he wanted to do more than just friendly pop music and had left the Hollies. For him, his creative future rather lay in the Laurel Canyon scene in California. Crosby and Stills had already kicked around some song ideas, and when Nash joined during an informal session, all three realized they had something there, especially when it came to their intricate and immaculate harmony singing. Their debut album was released in 1969 and quickly was considered a milestone release. To this day, Crosby, Stills and Nash, later sporadically teaming up with Neil Young, are not only considered one of the most iconic supergroups, but furthermore classic examples of the Woodstock generation, mostly based on their first two albums. This Grammy-winning album not only is impressive because of the perfect and often intricate harmony singing by Crosby, Stills and Nash, one also has to bear in mind that Stephen Stills, who apparently was a bit of a perfectionist in the studio, plays most of the instruments on a majority of the tracks all by himself. And I haven't even talked about the songs yet. Straight away, we are confronted with the most ambitious and also longest piece on the entire album, Stephen Stills' Sweet Judy Blue Eyes. Really, a set of loosely connected dance pieces from the 17th century. Are we talking about prog rock excess here? Well, no, but it might be even worse. This opening track establishes confessional singer-songwriting material. The song famously deals with Stephen Stills' breakup with his then girlfriend, the singer-songwriter Judy Collins. It's a very personal song filled with impressive harmony singing, very catchy parts, immaculate acoustic guitar playing, and also a driving bass guitar here and there.
I am yours, you are mine, you are what you are. Give my gift all.
The listener gets drawn right in with the up-tempo, very catchy and very infectious first part, where already the heavenly harmony singing of Crosby, Stills and Nash is introduced. The second part then slows down considerably It's a bit more pensive, pastoral. This then, in the third part, is broken up by, again, a more up-tempo acoustic guitar solo section, which finally leads into the most fun and catchiest bit of the whole track. The final part with its doo-doo-doo background singing and some, I think, fake Spanish lyrics belted out by STILLS. This is, it's just an incredible piece of music. It's folk rock of the highest quality. It breathes the West Coast sound of the era in every second. And an abridged version of this was also released as a single, but to appreciate the full thing, you definitely need to hear the album version at least once in your life. Well, how can you top such an immaculate tour de force as the introductory track? After Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, we get a little bit of... Yes, we quickly jump aboard the Marrakesh Express. The song was written by Graham Nash. It's a super infectious, fun pop song. Marrakesh was very attractive for the hippies, and this song really makes you feel as if you were on a train filled with happy flower children and stoned gurus.
Did you know we're riding on the Marrakesh Express? Did you know we're riding on the Marrakesh Express? They're taking me to Marrakesh, all on board. Yeah.
After this breezy hit single from the album, track number 3, Guinevere, introduces a very hypnotic, meandering atmosphere. This is a song written by David Crosby. It's a slightly mysterious, slowly unfolding and rather unorthodox folk ballad. David Crosby certainly wrote the less accessible, more idiosyncratic tunes. This one is really noteworthy. It's certainly a grower of a track, not as immediate as the songs written by Stephen Stills and Graham Nash, but the more often you hear it, the more attractive it becomes, at least to me. It's really one of the highlights on this album. The song seems to be addressed or describe several women. One of them, David Crosby's first girlfriend, or one of his first serious girlfriends, who tragically was killed in a car accident.
Guinevere had green eyes like yours, lady, like yours.
Next up is You Don't Have to Cry. This is sort of classic Crosby, Stills and Nash. It's a perfect example of their sound. If you think of Crosby, Stills and Nash, this song sort of combines everything that you probably have in mind. It has the wonderful close-knit harmony singing of the three musicians. It focuses on acoustic guitars. It's very folky, upbeat, and also extremely catchy. As the last track on side A, we then have Graham Nash's Pre-Road Downs. This is a personal favorite of mine. Again, it's a rather short and very catchy song. but it's also the most straight rock and roll track on Crosby, Stills and Nash. It has some backwards electric guitar playing, an up-tempo driving rhythm, and again also a very catchy melody. Yeah, this is just a very fun 1960s rock song. What makes Pre-Road Downs also interesting is that there is a little bit of background singing on this number by Mama Cass, who was a member of the Mamas and the Papas. And in at least one version of how the group got together, it was her who brought Nash, Stills and Crosby together to form this West Coast folk rock supergroup. Lyrically, Pre-Road Downs is a more or less ordinary love song. As I mentioned, I enjoy this one very much. It gets sometimes a little bit overlooked when people talk about this album. Yeah, check it out. I think this is a very, very great contribution by Graham Nash.
I have kissed you, so I'll miss you. On the road I'll be wanting you, but I have you, 'cause I love you, and you have me 'cause you love me too. Yeah.
Let's flip the record over, so to speak. The second side begins with Wooden Ships. This is the only song on the album credited to several composers. It's written by Stephen Stills, David Crosby, and one Paul Kantner. Paul Kantner was guitarist in the ultimate West Coast hippie band Jefferson Airplane, and I think he also provided some of the lyrics. Wooden Ships is a typical late 1960s flower power rock song, albeit with a more tranquil atmosphere. So it's rather slow and dreamy, and most of all, it has an interesting, unusual subject matter. The lyrics come across as a kind of science fiction story. We get the depiction of a kind of nuclear apocalypse with people fleeing radiation, suffering from radiation. Apparently, there's also been a kind of war or armed conflict, because the lyrics tell the story of two men who apparently were on different sides, or who are kind of enemies, asking each other for berries that protect against radiation. And yes, some people, so the hope is to flee with wooden ships to different and safe shores, to flee from the nuclear apocalypse. It's actually it's very dark subject matter. The song itself, as I mentioned, is a quite relaxed rock song, even though you have electric guitars and Hammond organ, etc. Obviously, this song also alludes to the Vietnam War, which was at its height during the late 60s and early 1970s.
Wooden ships on the water, very free and easy. Easy, you know the way it's supposed to be.
The following track then, Lady of the Island, is another song written by Graham Nash, and this is, as I would argue, the most intimate song on the entire album. It's a very stripped down acoustic ballad. It's basically only acoustic guitar and Graham Nash's vocals, maybe with a little bit of background harmonies by David Crosby. As mentioned, this is very intimate. It's written from the perspective of a lover singing to his lover. It depicts very, very romantic, intimate situations between those two lovers. This song probably is about Joni Mitchell. Graham Nash had a short but very intense relationship with the grande dame of singer-songwriters Joni Mitchell. But maybe it isn't, because Graham Nash wrote this song when he was still with the Hollies. Track number 3 on side 2 is Helplessly Hoping. This is another Crosby, Stills and Nash classic. It's another rather acoustic, folky West Coast song. It again showcases the simply perfect harmony vocals of the three guys. And yes, this has become a staple in the Crosby, Stills and Nash repertoire.
Helplessly hoping her harlequin hovers nearby, awaiting a word.
The song also uses some clever and fun word plays. We are two alone, we are three together, we are for each other. Crosby, Stills and Nash would not always be such a close community. There was a lot of love-hate relationships going on within the band. Sometimes they were best buddies and then again split up. It's a bit of a soap opera thing if you look at the further history of Crosby, Stills and Nash. We then have got Long Time Gone. This is the second and final track provided or contributed by David Crosby. It's the bluesiest song on the album. It features quite bluesy electric guitar playing from, I think, Stephen Stills, maybe David Crosby himself, but I think the guitar is played by Stephen Stills. And also quite dominant Hammond organ. And this combination always reminded me a little bit of The Doors. It has a typical late 60s rock sound. It's a rather slow song. Again, not the most accessible one, at least compared to the other tracks. It's a fine, hippie rock sound, something to, I don't know, smoke a joint to and lay back and just enjoy this one grooving in the background. It's not necessarily my favorite, but it's, yes, a bona fide example of the sound of the late 60s coming from the California scene. And finally, we get Stephen Stills' 49 Bye-Byes. This is a very fine, solid, and very accurate title to finish the album with. It has a laid-back groove. It seems to be another song directed at Judy Collins, or at least dealing with the split up with Judy Collins. It says goodbye to a lover, but in a very melodic way. So it's not necessarily a sad or depressing song. And there is a great piano version of this song available on the live album Four-Way Street that Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young released a few years later. I think this is, even though it's really just Stephen Stills banging on the piano, I think that's a wonderful version of this track, 49 Bye-Byes. And with that we are through with this album. 10 tracks. Not a single dud on this one, actually, even though, as mentioned, maybe Long Time Gone isn't my most favorite song. It's a very concise and, well, just perfect album. If you like folk rock, folk West Coast sound, then you will not find any fault with this album. Right, so on the whole, Crosby, Stills and Nash is just a wonderfully positive, joyous album. It will put you in a good mood immediately. It's basically about the joy of music, the joy of making music, and the joy of singing together. And this is definitely also, outside a certain flower power spirit, something to embrace from time to time. As mentioned, the album won a Grammy back in 1969 or 1970. And arguably, if this had been the only album ever released by Crosby, Stills and Nash, they still would be revered today as an iconic act. As it turned out, this was not to be their only release, but this debut was a massive success. It quickly got to number 6 in the US Billboard charts, and also reached the top 10 in several European countries. Interestingly enough, in Great Britain, it only went to number 25 when it was released. But yeah, I think this says a lot about the greatness of this album and the importance of this album in rock history. I've got a second-hand copy, which unfortunately is missing the lyric sheet that I think was part of the original release. Still, I'm very happy to have this one as a vinyl album. My parents had the album on a very worn-out tape when I was a child, so I've known this album since I was very young, and I still love and appreciate it. If you haven't heard it and you're interested in, well, late 60s, early 70s music, especially singer-songwriter, if you like harmony vocals, such as maybe also Simon and Garfunkel, but, well, maybe even perfected even more, then get your hands on this album. And with that, I just say thank you and give you my not 49 bye-byes, but just one bye-bye until the next video. Peace out.